Hello, my name is Oscar Moran and I work for Acbeyond. The last couple of pages we left off at page 20. Now we're going to talk about page 21. And what I have behind me, it's the PT chart. Okay, the PT chart. It's if you want to check the air conditioner, how is the air conditioner running fine? There's no problem with it. You got to do some pressures and temperature measurements, not only superheat but also subcooling. Okay. But here's one of the things anyway. This is an evaporator. Okay, so this is an evaporator. So what these are gauges. For the air conditioning mechanics are aware of these, they're familiar with this. This is the low side and this is the high side. So since this is the evaporator and this section from here, that goes to the compressor. Okay? This goes to the compressor. Okay, so this is the inlet of the evaporator where you have it's 100% liquid, but before that you have another device called the metering device. So what happens in the valve is that 100% is going to be 100% liquid coming in, but what happens is that 25% turns into a mist and cools off. There's a remaining 75% liquid. So it's cooled off. So it's low pressure, low temperature. So it's liquid over here. Sorry. So it's liquid. By the time it's going through, and you're gonna pick up heat. So if you have, let's say if you have air coming in at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, that's the heat you're going to be adding into the evaporator. So well, that's the other thing anyway. So what we want to do is we want to maintain a pressure of 68 psig. Okay, these are temperature. There's the pressure we want to maintain in the evaporator for R22. So this is R22. So the what we call it? At 68 psig, we want to know what temperature is the coil or the refrigerant going through anyway. So what you have here is this is your Fahrenheit, this is your temperature. There's R22, 47C in 410A. So since we're talking about R22, at 40 degree coil, at 40 degrees, the pressure is going to be 68, which right now the pressure is 68. So actually we're going to be 40 degree coil. So in here, the coil is going to be at 40 degrees. That's the temperature we want to maintain in the evaporator. So the air coming in is at 75, so it's picking up more heat. So now mind you that in the middle of the coil, you have saturation point, meaning that either you add refrigerant, you add heat, or you remove heat. If you add more heat, that turns into superheat. So superheat, it picks up more heat on the way going into the compressor. So by the time it's here, okay, over here it's going to be vapor. So you have liquid here, they turn into some mixture of both in here. And once at the end, it's going to be vapor. So you have it's a low pressure, low temperature, superheated vapor. Okay, but now with the superheat, we want to know why it's a good superheat. Many manufacturers have different numbers. Usually have 12, 13, 14, even 19, depending on the manufacturer of the expansion valve. So let's say on this system now, we have to measure the refrigerant going into the compressor. So let's say it's going to be 52 degrees Fahrenheit. So the refrigerant going into the compressor is at 52 degrees Fahrenheit. And remember that 68 psig equals 40 degree coil. So the coil is going to be 40 degrees, right? So you're going to remove 40 from 52, you're going to have 12. So you're going to have superheat. You're going to have 12 degrees of superheat, okay? Now remember, let's say if it's the temperature is at 53, then you have You take out 40, it's going to be 13. So it depends what temperature is coming in or what temperature is the ambient temperature too. The other thing also you want to, when I was mentioning before, that we want to maintain a 20 degrees delta T, okay? We want to maintain a 20 degrees delta T temperature difference, okay? Meaning that if it's coming at 75, leaving is going to be 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So we want to maintain there where you have the filter, where the air filter goes, the air coming in and the air coming out, it should be about 20 degrees. Now that's one thing with R22. Now if you're doing it on 407C or 410A, it's going to be the same procedure. If you check on your pressure, you put on the gauges and you're talking about 407C, if you look here, it's going to be at 63. That's the temperature that we want to maintain in the evaporator. Remember, we want to maintain 40 degree coil. Now the other temperatures, we're going to talk about it later on throughout the book, because we're also going to talk about subcooling. Okay, but now we're talking about now is superheat and how important it is if the air conditioner is running fine. So this is one of the few pages that I talked about. I talked about this page 21 and 22, I believe. I'm not sure. But anyway, so this is for now, and we'll continue making more videos soon. Have a good night. What I was talking about before, I forgot to mention that on the gauges, you have a PT chart also, okay? All of the gauges have it. This is one of my work gauges. This is what I use for 22. Now, if you're going to use 47C, you need another pair of gauges. And if you're going to work with 410A, you also need another pair of gauges too. So depending on the refrigerator you're going to work on, pretty much maintain the same gauges, because you have different refrigerants and you have different type of oil, okay? And that's about it. Good night.